let's break down into the different loan programs. Let's first talk about conventional. I think there is maybe some misunderstood truths about the difference between a conventional and a government loan. There's also different down payment options for conventional loans. Some do include PMI, which is private mortgage insurance. So let's talk a little bit first about just your typical 20% down, no PMI conventional loan process.
That's it. It's pretty much it, guys, because there's no PMI on it. It's a 20% down transaction. That's what it is, and I have to verify that they have the 20% to put down or where it's coming from, And
one thing I like to do, a little off subject here, but especially in this aggressive market, if you're going against different, if it is a 20% down conventional, most agents don't get proof of fund letters when they send the offers in. They just use the pre-approval letter. Typically what I do is I have my clients send me at least a screenshot of their bank account showing that they have the 20% down, or a letter from their bank saying that they have that much money in cash, and submit it with the pre-approval letter. You'll win a lot more offers if you do it that way.
I like that idea because this buyer's serious.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You're bringing up this is a committed buyer. If they're willing to give out bank information, you've got a serious deal there, and it could help you.
Yeah, easily could be the difference of winning a contract and not winning a contract.
I like that.
And most of them can just, you can take a screenshot of the bank account on your mobile app for your bank and, mark off the account numbers if they're showing. There's a lot of ways to do that.
Most time when you're doing a mobile screenshot like that, it's just showing the last 4 digits.
Yeah.
Nobody can get that information.
Yep, right. It's just enough.
Just has your name, the 4 digits, and
recurrent. And now PMI, private mortgage insurance.
It really starts when you're right below 20%.
What factors go into what PMI cost?
Everything.
Yeah, so we're talking credit scores make a difference.
We're talking the credit scores, the debt to income make a difference, and that's the main things.
Yep.
Their DTI makes a difference. On a conventional loan, we can only go to 50% DTI. If we go, and they got to get pre-approved, it has to come up.
DTI is debt to income.
Debt to income. A lot of times around the housing part of it is, we'll get to 41, 40, and we start getting over that, and our DTI is at 50, we may get a refer. A refer is a manual review, and we cannot do a manual review with a conventional loan. So it's a dead conventional loan. We got to look at other products if we have to go to that point. But the 50% DTI is the max. And that's both for Freddie and Fannie, because we have 2 options there. We have desktop underwriter and LP with his loan prospect. Freddie's loan prospect. Desktop underwriter is Fannie.
So not to get too much off the subject here, but Freddie and Fannie, explain that to a new agent.
Those are the government entities that all the loans are guaranteed through the government, and they're backed by the government. Fannie and Freddie both are backed by the government. All of our loans are backed by the government. Every loan out there is backed by the government. It's just conventional loans don't have foreclosure factors built into them. They really focus on how much you're putting down and what's the risk there. And that's where, if you only put 10% down, your interest rate might be a little bit higher because of the risk.
Plus you're paying PMI to cover the risk of not having the equity in there.
Yep. And same way with 5% and 3% loans. We do a lot of 3% loans now. If they have good quality FICO scores, you can do a 3% loan or a 5% loan instead of FHA. And that does come in handy.
And sometimes we'll save, kind of depending on what the person's. So with a 3% down conventional, typically what we're looking at, a first-time home buyer for 3%?
Not necessarily anymore. I use it all the time. A lot of times I look at my situation and I'm looking at, if they need to put a little love in their house and they got really good credit scores, sometimes we put 3% down and we pay a little bit more mortgage insurance, but you can't borrow money like that for that little bit of, the mortgage insurance and PMI is so reasonable because they want to compete with the government loans so much right now that you can't go borrow money for $67 a month.
Right. By the time it takes you 20 years to get that 10 grand of cash in there.
Right. And we do that a lot too with 10%. Instead of 20%, I'll look at the situation. I said, do you want to put 10% down? You have this 10% to work with. You have this little bit of mortgage insurance that's going to fall off in 8 years. It's a win for them.
Well, and for a lot of people, staying liquid cash, I think, is important.
I really
having a good savings account. If the HVAC goes out, if there's a major crisis, they need to have a savings account to be either able to take care of the property, take care of health, because the last thing we want them to do is be in a situation where they have a foreclosure.
We don't want the foreclosure.
No, so putting another 10% down on a $250,000 house is $25,000. Well, that $25,000 probably is only adding $130 a month, roughly.
Yeah, it's not much.
Yeah, it's not that much.
The interest rate right now is the big thing.
Yeah, it's a big deal, and they're paying more. And a lot of these numbers, looking at the smaller interest rates we're so used to, but a lot of times people are better off doing a 5% down or a 10% down loan instead of putting the 20% down.
When I run the numbers for them and show them, hey, 10% in this,
You're
usually looking at six. It's basically $6 a thousand.
Yeah, probably a little more now with the interest rate. You could probably figure 7 or 8.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But for years, I've figured $6 a thousand on almost any loan, and it comes
really
pretty close.
Comes to the loan size as it goes. But yeah, you're probably right.
Yep.
Leaning a little higher. I've been pushing it up a little bit.
Yeah, I have on some. And then, so conventional. So the appraisal process between a conventional and a government loan is a little different. But I think there's a misunderstanding that a conventional loan won't require any repairs. But I've definitely seen them before where, if there's a roof that's shot, that the value's based on a roof replacement or something. Doesn't happen a whole lot, especially 20% down, but definitely can, right? Or can you talk a little bit around that?
Absolutely. The main thing on, conventional loans, he's absolutely right. The roof, you guys think about it, the roof and the foundation are the two most important things. The structure and the stability of the home. Because the roof protects the house, the foundation keeps it from collapsing, right? And I always tell people, walk that foundation. Ethan's big on pre-inspections. He almost, I believe, gets every house, as many as he can.
Try to.
Yeah. And it is important to have someone crawl through, look at that foundation. If you can stick your finger in a crack, just fill it in. I know that sounds crazy, right? Just
hold on here. I don't know.
Have someone fill that crack in with something.
But make sure they still put it on the disclosures, okay?
I don't care about your disclosure. I just don't want the appraiser to see it, right?
Right, yeah.
The reason I don't want the appraiser to see that crack, and it could be just a small crack, it could cause an underwriter to require an engineer to go out and inspect that foundation. Yeah. And that's another $550 on the transaction that my buyer has to pay to get it pushed through. Are you going to negotiate?
When they want to buy the house.
When they want to buy the house, are you going to negotiate with the seller? Are you going to step
And this, on our end, comes to when we have a seller going in and seeing some of these items, go, hey, you need to get somebody out here to fix this, because you want to fix this before we run it, before it's an issue, right? It's not about, say, hiding issues. It's about fixing issues. Fixing issues and making it to where it's good. So
it comes back to integrity and doing the right thing for people. The other thing is moisture. And the main thing I think about on the conventional loan is safety issues. There's a lot out there that if you think it's not safe, it's got to be addressed. We all know mildew is a huge thing anymore.
Yeah.
Water in the basement causes mildew. That's got to be addressed. We can't let that be there. It's odd. But lately I've been getting a lot of stools with soft floors. Well, on a conventional loan, that has to be addressed just like on an FHA loan. You can't let a soft floor foundation go through. It's not going to go through. The other thing I worry about, and this will make it below average, is if there any ceiling open. And the reason that is, if you think about it, it's a safety issue because there's wiring usually exposed. If there's wiring exposed, they're going to make it below average until it's addressed. But they call me.
Well, and also your drywall
isn't going to pass.
Your drywall's a fire barrier too.
Right.
So, that's a lot of that when it comes into play there. So, conventionals, I definitely are not as tough on the appraisal process when it comes to repair as government loans.
Right.
But it's not a slam dunk. It's not a slam dunk by any means, and I think a lot of agents out there don't realize that. Conventionals tend to have better buying power, I think, on contracts. For me, I know a lot of agents and clients want these cash deals. I am probably out of the norm, and I almost prefer a loan because
I like that.
Well, the thing is about a cash, people can walk away. so easy.
They could.
You know, they usually have the money to play. They have the money to walk away. It's not something they have to do. Where if I'm working with a client who's got a loan and they go through the loan process, they don't have the funds to have multiple houses. They have to move, and so they're going to make it work. So I know a lot of people love the easiness of cash, and there definitely is, but there's something, I mean, I wouldn't take a cash offer if it was $5,000 less. I'd actually rather have the 20% down conventional. I think I have a better chance of closing the 20% conventional than I do a cash buyer in a lot of cases. So don't just automatically discount those cash, transactions as better, because I bet out of my fall throughs in the last 3 years, I bet 80% of them have been cash deals. And I bet that's a pretty common theme throughout everybody. But anything
They
else
do
on?
hopefully buy eventually, right? Sometimes.
Well, if I got the seller, I don't care if they go buy again.
That's true.
It's just
Oh, they just step away.
I don't think cash is king by any means
Right.
when it comes to these deals.